different loves, taking many forms. Trustworthy eyes, hide the devil horns. Preying on the weak, got you feeling tough. Praying on my knees, have you had enough? I held my hands in the air, you held a knife at my back. You always say that you care, but actions speak louder than that. Broken promises, broken point of view, broken thoughts on all that you put me through. All that aside, I kept trying with you. You crossed the line, trying to break me too. Really nothing else left that I can say. Lie every time you look me in the face. Believing you is my biggest mistake. It's about time we break the ties, set 'em ablaze. When I ran away from you, my flame returned. Yes, it's safe to say that now the bridge is burned.
Hello and welcome. How was everybody's week? If you see that I put that in the chat, I wanted to see how everybody's week was. Seeing some answers. Yes, 6 is better than 1, Bethany. Psh, are you hangry, BD? Are you hangry? You're bored? Yes, being happy and sober, that means it is a good day. Hi, Cookies. Hi, Wims. Hi, Mushy. Hi, Bethany. Hi, Rachel. Yes, it is a great day. 8.5 is solid. Great. I mean, anything greater than a 1 is great. Hey, JJ. Thank you guys for coming. I am very appreciative. 6 too, because yeah, I'm sorry. Whimsy. So today I wanted to talk about self-care and accountability, things that you can do to, do that things that you can do to help that along while you're in recovery. And also, once you have broken free from an abuser, because it's not easy to keep your mind occupied. You grieve your addiction, you grieve the relationship that you had with your abuser, and it's hard to keep your mind occupied and busy and hold yourself accountable also if you're in recovery. I didn't mention this in my story, but I lived in shelter for 7 months when I left my situation, and that was helping me keep myself accountable during my recovery. Because I wasn't allowed to use while in shelter. That was part of the agreement while being there. You cannot partake in drugs or alcohol while living in the premises. That was part of the agreement. So, and I had a curfew. And, they helped me. I had to be enrolled in their programs, like group counseling and whatnot. And the one that I went to didn't offer a lot of programs, such as like helping find employment and whatnot, but I had a friend that helped me do that. So I didn't get to participate in a lot of the programs because I was working during the day, and that's when they provided a lot of these programs. But I know some stuff that did help me was journaling. That really helped me to keep my mind busy. And there is no certain guideline when it comes to journaling. Journaling could be anything. It could be a bunch of random thoughts, your feelings. Just put them down on paper. It doesn't have to be a set guideline. It could just be you getting yourself and your feelings out. Stumbled over my words there for a minute. It doesn't have to make sense. And it doesn't have to be anything that you share with anybody. It is for you and you alone. It doesn't have to be anything that you revisit later in time. For me, I have revisited it because it's helped me grow. It's helped me see my personal growth. Setting goals for yourself. Short-term goals may be easier at first because thinking of things in long term in the very beginning can be very intimidating. It can be scary because I never for once thought that I would have a career coming out of my abusive relationship and coming into recovery because I thought things were hopeless. Finding faith, if that is your thing, can be very rewarding and very guiding and something that some people do find strength in. I don't discourage that at all. At one point in time, I was a person that was very full of faith. Yes, Rachel, keeping organized helps. Learning to let go can help as well because in addiction, I know that I and a lot of others have struggled with control. Being organized is a way of having that sense of control. I'm happy you're here, Rachel. I am happy you're here. And I'm glad you got out. Short-term goals such as I'm going to get a job today, or I'm going to get out of bed and I'm going to take a shower today. Having a family member that is an addict is a whole nother story. It's very hard, and I am sorry to hear that. It's very hard. I have family members. Yes, make your bed. Just short little things like that, just a short little list can help you get through the day. That is self-care. Making your bed, taking a shower, brushing your hair, brushing your teeth. Little things like that is self-care. Watching your favorite TV show, reading your book. Stuff like that is self-care. Baby steps, 100%. And they say that self-care is not selfish, but it can be. And I'm 100% for it. Because at some point in time, you are what matters. You are always what matters. You are what comes first. There are people that tell me, hey, today I can't make it to your life. And they feel bad. They feel bad because they can't be here because, they're making time for their family or they're sick or, they've got, it's fine. I don't expect everyone to be here for every life that I have. You are priority. You are what matters. I appreciate everyone that comes in here and helps me and supports me. I really do. But you are number one. I'm only here to help you. I'm only here to help you get the support that you need, and it's fine. Not being hard on yourself when you think that you don't see growth that you have done. I am my biggest critic. We all are our biggest critic. It's not too early. I think that I am just gonna, let's open up the conversation. Because I don't want to be up here alone talking to myself. I feel like I'm always up here sitting here talking to a empty room, to a wall. Actually, what's in front of me is one of my Harley Quinn posters. For all of you that don't know, I love Harley Quinn and Joker, and it has a personal meaning for me. Um, if you think about it, they are one of the most toxic relationships there are out there. Okay, you've read the Batman comic. Um, you've seen the movies. You've seen what has happened. Um, and Joker, hey Wims, Joker doesn't treat Harley very well. He manipulates her. He brings out her bad side. And then eventually, Harley comes out of her own. She remembers who she is, and she breaks free. And I'm here for it. I'm Team Harley all the way. And so it's a reminder to me to remember that I don't need my Joker. I'm my own hero.
Hell yeah.
It's kind of cheesy, but hey. Hey Wims.
Hey. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I might need to adjust you if I can figure that out. I'll turn you up a little bit.
Okay.
Say something now.
Hi.
There we go. Hey Axe.
Max is here.
Yes, he can. Oh my god, he's here. I'm sorry, I just yelled. Yeah. Joker represents my monster, if I can be honest. Or Lord Voldemort, as I like to call the one that shall not be named. Isn't that right?
Oh, mine is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Just ways that I'm just talking about self-care today and accountability. How was your week?
it was good. For the most part, it was good.
Oh, totally fine, Bethany. More the merrier. It's good.
Yeah.
You can come up on your phone. I think I pinned the link. I mean, we tested out Android, and Android doesn't sound bad. I think it's just when certain people that we watch run certain programs, it's why Android sounds like complete duty.
Could be. It could be the type of Android too. Like maybe older Androids. I don't know.
It might be. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. I've yet to call her. I'm a bad girl. It's easier for me to give advice than to take people's advice.
I think that's a very common struggle.
It is. Okay, BD. That's good to know. I can't do that with you on here. That's weird. So ways that you can hold yourself accountable is being self-aware, knowing things that trigger you. Sometimes there may be something that you don't know that triggers you. I mean, I still 7 years out, I run across that. There'll be things that I don't know that triggers me until it happens. And then I have to realize my feelings. I have to be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, you're not yourself. take a step back, breathe. And I don't always have somebody like my best friend with me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also really not good at reaching out to people. Um, I'd rather suffer in silence. I'm a suffer in silence type. I need to get better at not doing that. Um, whoop, we got another one. Welcome.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Let me see, am I echoing?
You're not echoing.
Good. I'm a adult child of an addict, and unfortunately, my mom lived with her addiction for my whole life, and she's gone now. And a lot of the reasons why she's gone is because of her addiction. With that being said, I've seen her struggle and never be able to get to the point where she was okay. It always broke my heart, but you got to keep trying. Every day that you wake up, never give up
Mm-hmm.
because it's important to the people around you, the people that love you, the people that want to see you do the best that you can for yourself. And I think it's a great thing that you're doing here, and more people need to pay attention. You know, say a nice word to the person that's next to you. You never know what somebody's going through.
Yeah,
You know,
I agree.
smile at somebody. There's so much pain in this world right now. We walk on the street and we see the addiction, and those people are lost. For the ones that are getting the help, for the ones that are fighting every day to get up and just move forward, I praise, and everyone should lift those people up because that's the people that need to be lifted up.
Mm-hmm.
They do. There are a lot of people that suffer every day. I see them. And before I went through my own struggle, I was quick to judge. And where I live, there are a lot of homeless people. And I used to think all homeless people were garbage and that they were all drug addicts.
Yeah,
And that, they were all trash. They all had no intentions, that they all, you know, I know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to figure out how to say it. My perception of homeless people is that they were all bad. They were all no good. They were all worthless. They were all thieves and drug addicts.
no ambition.
Yes. No will to thrive
Yeah,
until I became that person.
exactly. Sometimes we get to points in our lives where we don't understand others' struggles until we're there.
Now, I will say that there are some people that do choose to live that way,
Yeah,
but I can tell a difference between those that do not have that choice and those that want something different for themselves.
yeah. It's an everyday fight.
It is. I have a
And
sibling who chooses not to do better for themselves.
yeah, and you have to be self-aware and mindful because it takes changing everything. Because once you've lived in that addiction for so long, people, places, and things can trigger you.
Yep. I firmly believe that. Like I said, I don't I don't walk by the 12-step program. There are some things that I do believe that works, and that is one of them.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. I grew up where I live now. I knew I had great people that I grew up with, and they were willing to be my support system, and they did.
Yeah.
They were here through every walk of it. And I know that it's all around me, but I choose not to associate with anyone outside of my circle so it cannot find me and I cannot find it.
Yes, and you have to be that way. I mean, it could be a person that you were close to, and if they're still in that addiction or mind frame, they can drag you down just as fast. And you just have to give your distance. I didn't talk to my mom for about 6 years, and it wasn't because of her trying to drag me into addiction, but it was of the abuse. And I couldn't watch her kill herself anymore. You know, I'm 51 years old now. I've seen a lot in my lifetime. I've seen a lot. And certain people and places can be traumatizing, especially if you've watched parents go through it or friends go through it, and you can see the dangers. And trying to talk to people, sometimes it can be hard, but eventually they do see that there can be a way out. And when they have that support system around them like you do, it makes it a lot easier to be able to say, okay, I want to do this for myself and for the people around me. Because I
Yeah.
don't think when you're in that addiction, you realize, you think, oh, I'm just having fun, I'm just partying. You don't realize the pain that it causes the other people, you know?
Mm-hmm. You don't, because addiction is also selfish. You're selfish
Yeah.
when you're in addiction. I
Because
truly believe it's a demon that takes you over.
I had asked my mom one time why it was so hard for her to get out of her addiction. And that's what she told me. She said it's like a demon that's taken me over and I can't get away from it. And she was a firm believer in church and God, and she prayed, and she did everything she had to. But we actually have to make the effort and the mindfulness of doing it. I know I made the effort and mindfulness of never drinking. I never did drugs. I smoke weed, but I got a medical marijuana card and I don't do any prescription drugs either. But with that being said, that's also an addiction. We all have addictions,
Mhm.
and sex, overeating, relationships, anything can
Mm-hmm.
be addiction. And I think sometimes people forget about that and they say, oh, I don't have no addiction. If you start looking at your life, you can find something that you're addicted to, whether it be monster drinks, it still can be considered an addiction.
Yo.
And people want to judge people that are in active addictions of drugs without looking at themselves and being like, okay, maybe I shouldn't be so hard because I don't know what that person went through.
Yep. My whole outlook changed. I used to be a very judgmental person. I mean, I still catch myself sometimes slipping into it. I'm not going to lie. I'm human. And there's
Oh,
times
yeah,
that
we all
stuff
are.
comes out of my mouth that shouldn't.
Oh, I've got one topic in particular that I can't seem to keep my mouth shut about, and Yeah, we won't talk about that here, but
Yeah. And you know, it's habit. We're human. It happens.
yes.
But
And when we see something, you know,
it did that me going through everything that I did go through did make me a little more empathetic to others because you
yeah,
don't know what others are going through on a daily basis. And
no,
it's another, like you said, there are people that judge people that are in active addiction. There are people that judge people like me that want to sit here and share their story. And like I said on my first stream, I'm not the person that I was telling you about. I'm the person sitting here telling you who I am now.
exactly,
And if you want to judge me for that, fuck you and your mom.
exactly. And people shouldn't. And, we've all been through stuff. It's life. You never know what is going to be dished out around the corner.
Mhm.
Because
We
none of
can
us are
say,
perfect.
no, and we can sit here and say, oh, we'd act like this or we'd act like that. Not until you're in that situation. But with
Nope.
that being said, there's also certain rules that you have to live by. you know, certain things you just don't do in this world. And, with a moral compass, you look for the right way out.
Yep. I decided that I wanted to, with everything that I went through with my domestic violence and being an addict, I decided I wanted to work in the legal field. Irony, huh?
Hey, that's the best place to be because you understand.
I was tired of seeing people suffer. And a lot of it was because of the mistreatment that I got when I was in the courtroom. The
Yeah,
judge that first was presiding over my case or cases, because at first it was the divorce and then I was trying to fight the guardianship that had happened. I wanted to dissolve it because my two youngest children were in the guardianship of my ex-in-laws.
yeah,
And it was a small town that this was happening in. And the judge looked at me and told me, "Oh, well, I've seen plenty of you come in and out of here, and none of you never change. You're never going to get sober."
Ugh.
And he was also presiding over the drug court program that ran in that county.
yeah,
After 2, 3 years, I can't remember how long it was, he finally decided to recuse himself or remove himself from the case as a conflict of interest because he was presiding over my ex-husband's drug court as well.
yeah.
But for you to sit here and say that I was never going to change, and I had not been in any legal trouble, but he had.
Yeah,
But you never once said any of that shit to him,
yeah, and that's not right.
who you seen on a weekly basis that you knew had gotten charges, that you knew had been in trouble, and he had been in trouble for other things and been in front of you for. Like,
Yep,
the fuck?
yep,
And then I seen what it did to my children. So I also wanted to, maybe advocate for children of addicts because it's not fair of what we do to them.
they're the unheard. They're the ones that I remember. I can tell you a little story real quick. My mom, when I was 11 years old, she had tried to get clean. And this was after I'm talking about she was heroin and everything. She had tried to get clean, and because of all the drug use, she ended up freaking out. um, she drove us around for hours. Me and my little brother. My brother was only, let's see, I was 7. No, I was 10. So he was about 4. She drove us around for hours, told me to read the Bible, and then she pulled over in the middle of the night and proceeded to shoot herself. I had to sit on her lap, and she pressed on the gas, and I steered. We got back to the trailer, and she wouldn't let me go until she passed out, and then I ran down the street. Got a hold of the neighbors, and I asked them to please call the cops, and they did, but I don't remember anything else until the next day, or yeah, the next day, and me and my brother had to go to the orphanage. Didn't know what was going on, didn't understand anything, and here 4 or 5 months after that, she gets us back. Nothing was never explained to me. Nothing was never, we didn't go to counselors, nothing. Well, we ended up moving, and, we all thought it was, everything was going to be fine. Nope, the cycle started all over again 6 months later. And it can just continue like that all my life. And as a child, you get numb to it, you get aggravated, you get frustrated. Some people go into the addiction themselves, and some people don't. But because of that, you never form bonds with people. You don't trust. You don't find yourself worthy of anything. So you're always looking for love in the wrong places. I found myself, because of the abuse that I went through, that I was pregnant at 16 years old. I was looking for someone to love me. Ended up raising a child on my own. My mom left state, you know, 17 with a kid. Father then ran off, but I raised them. And I fought every single day. And now at 51 years old, looking back on everything, and my oldest is 34, my second one's 32, and my youngest one's 24 years old. And I did the best I could with what I knew. And I didn't do it right. I didn't do nothing right, because I was always scared and always running from relationships and running from people and trying to protect my children, and not realizing that I was harming them in a different way. And they're all good, you know, all three of them. I'm proud of all three of them. But because of that, I put myself in relationships that I shouldn't have. And they seen fighting and stuff like that. That's why I say everybody has their own addictions. Mine was the addiction of the perfect family, and knowing that I was never good enough. So yeah, kids do suffer.
I do. I've seen what it did to mine. I mean, I have 4 beautiful children, and I worry every day. I mean, I've seen as they grow how it's affected them, and I see that it still affects them. And they were told as they were growing up that it was one way. They never got to hear my side of the story for many years. Yeah. It was, I was a drug addict and I abandoned them. But no, it was, I went to go get better for you. And now they see that. But
yes,
for a while they didn't see that, because that's what wasn't what they were told.
Yeah.
And I think that
And
there
they'll
needs to be
continue to
more.
see it.
They do. There'll be. I think that there should be more than a guardian ad litem in cases for children when it comes to their parents who are addicts. There needs to be more of an advocate for them, because my children had a guardian ad litem. And at first he did do a good job, but I feel that there needs to be more services offered to children
There
of
does.
addict parents
There does.
when the court is involved. There needs to be more than DCFS intervention. There needs to be better services provided. You know, I think
There needs to be family services provided for the whole family, for the kids and for the parents.
I agree. That's something I've thought about in the way of advocacy. In my education, I've continued, education. I obtained a bachelor's degree last summer. And then this year I started working on my master's. And I
Congratulations.
thank you. I've hit a snag with that at the moment, but we won't talk about that right now.
It'll be okay. You'll get it.
There was some grant writing classes that I was going to take that intertwines with that. And I think that that would be something good, because I've envisioned, there's DV shelters, and a lot of them are for women. And I found out when I was staying at the one I was staying at that they do offer services to men, but they don't have a housing unit for them. They put them in
No.
a hotel.
Yes.
Why aren't there family shelters? Because there are families that are victims of DV as well.
Because
Like,
I don't understand it either, because I know sometimes you'll have grandparents living with kids and with their children, and what people don't realize is sometimes the grandparents can be toxic. Sometimes it can be the kids that are
mhm.
toxic. You never know who it is in the relationship or in the family dynamics. So when you come to that, instead of putting these men and women and children on the street and telling them you got to figure it out yourself, there should be a shelter that they can go to and be like, look, we couldn't live in this toxic environment, whether it be abuse, alcoholism, or drug abuse.
So I had envisioned in my head something along the lines of an inclusive shelter for these families that are victims of different things, different wings, and providing services such as, an outreach for jobs and a housing program. And I know these
Yes.
all require funding, but with great desire comes people wanting to help and to offer these things to people.
Mhm.
And sometimes, like, there are people like me that were willing to do the work and get sober for their children and to make a difference and to build a life. I did it the hard fucking way. I'm not going to lie.
Yep.
I got sober cold turkey. I didn't go to rehab. I ditched rehab twice with the help of my ex-husband telling me I didn't need rehab. I wasn't an addict. Don't go. It's going to look bad to court because they already took our kids. He was in my
Yeah.
ear. He was blah, 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 blah. But
Yeah.
I did it the hard way. I built my life from the fucking ground up. And I don't want
Yep.
someone to have to go through everything that I fucking went through. I
No,
want
because
someone to know that they're not by themselves, that they have someone that can help them do this shit.
exactly. And not just a recovery. I mean, recovery programs are great. We need them, but it only helps that one person. I don't understand why the recovery programs can't include the whole family, because it's the whole family that suffers from the addiction.
100%. And there's so many, at least where I live, and I'm pretty sure it's in many cities where everybody lives. There are so many abandoned properties that just sit there
Oh,
and are wasting away, like
yes,
hotels, apartment complexes, whatever. Why couldn't
they got,
we turn these places into something good? Oh,
yes,
because everybody has this freaking mentality that drug addicts won't get clean, homeless people don't want better for themselves, that they're all fucking trash.
Mhm.
yeah, and it's not right.
But no, if someone would just give them a fucking chance and give them a hand up and an opportunity, maybe abandoned malls. Yes. Maybe somebody would fucking get off their ass and give somebody a goddamn chance. This could be possible.
Yeah.
I can't do it alone. I'm not rich by any means.
Oh, none of us are, but enough voices come together and enough minds come together and you can figure it out. People always have resources. They may not realize they have those resources, whether it be, okay, I know how to look something up, or I can find that information out. Someone always has something that they can give. And with the internet
And
today, we got all this stuff at our fingertips.
Yeah, because malls are becoming absolutely obsolete. The one where I live, they've slowly taken all of these businesses and they've either become online or they're taking them across the street and putting them in strip malls or outdoor like type malls
Yeah.
across the street.
Well, where I live at, they have taken the local mall that I used to go to when I was little. All the stores moved out, and they have turned part of it into a halfway house for inmates that come out of jail.
Mm-hmm.
And then they've got another section of it where they've turned it into housing for drug addicts that are trying to come out of recovery and make sure that they don't, go back into the world like without something. And they've been helping them get jobs and stuff. But I think the only way that you can do that is if you've gone to jail and they put you in that program. But they're using them all. It's a building that can be used. So obviously, if they would start opening up the hospitals that are abandoned, the churches, they've got so many churches around here that are abandoned. It's insane. And not
We've
only
got a
that, what about
lot.
all the houses and apartment buildings that are just sitting there with nobody in them? And then you've got a homeless person camping out in front of it.
There was a
Makes
house on
no
my
sense.
street that had a bunch of homeless people in and out of it.
Doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't, you know, it really doesn't. I mean, that's something that I've always thought about since I started my road to recovery was people shouldn't have to suffer. I made a horrible homeless person. Like, I am too spoiled, too bougie. Like, I can't do it. I can't be dirty. I can't be
Yeah,
hungry. I
I
just, I
couldn't
can't
either.
do it.
I couldn't either. And what's sad is around where I live at, the local homeless people that you see on a daily basis, you can watch their health and their bodies go down over months. You can see it when they get on the street. They'll have their suitcases, and they'll be all dressed nicely, their hair combed, and you can tell they just got there. And then after about 6 months, they looking through the trash, pushing buggies. Their clothes are ragged, hadn't had a shower in I don't know how long, and yet you've got people driving past them like they don't exist. What is wrong with us?
Yeah.
Because I know, I've seen places that put these outside bathrooms on the side of churches for the homeless people so they can take a bath and use the bathroom. I don't understand how society has become so cold-hearted. And it's scary because all of us are one paycheck away from the street.
That's so true. I worry about that every day.
Yes.
It's
Or
scary.
where's my kid going to be what's my kid gonna eat tonight? Or how about mothers that have to make the decision, okay, I can feed my baby. I'm not gonna eat, but I'll feed my baby, and I'll just have to wait on the water bill for next week, and it might get shut off. But we can go get gallon water. People don't think about that on a daily basis, and now it's even worse because you can't make it on a minimum wage job.
Yeah, that's a good point. In the chat, like I was saying earlier, some of us have been jaded by society. The fake beggars. There are some, like where I live, that sit under an overpass daily, and that is their full-time job.
Mhm.
Yep. I caught one not long ago. He stands up at the front of our street, and I happened to be driving by at the same time him and his wife were walking, and I happened to be pulling into Walmart and coming out of the store at the same time they were walking to their vehicle and getting in and driving away.
In the
They had
small
a
town
decent
that I was
vehicle.
talking in the small town I was talking about, where I did all my court stuff and whatnot, where I moved from back to where I live now, there was a man that I worked at a gas station. He used to stand on the corner by the McDonald's every day. And that's what he did. He held a sign saying that he was a veteran and all this stuff. And everybody felt sorry for him. And every day he would go and walk to his nice SUV after he was done and get in his car.
Yeah.
And I was like, do what?
Yeah. And that's not even right. But yesterday, I tell you what, I was at the
Like,
bank.
thank you for your
And
service, but what?
yeah. Well, I was at the bank yesterday, and a man came in. He had a duffel bag and a sleeping bag and everything. You could tell he was homeless. But he walked up in that bank with money, and he handed it to the cashier. And he said, I need to put this in my account because I'm trying to get all the money together that I can so I can get me a place to live. That's the kind of people that we should be giving money to, not the ones that end up at the bar or, and it's so hard to figure out which ones are which.
Well, I learned a few years ago whenever I was working at a liquor store, which I did to supplement income so I could pay my car payment. That there was a bunch of homeless that lived behind it in the Taco Bell next door, that they would buy the alcohol to keep them warm at night,
Yes.
to
Yep. And
supplement the
that too.
warmth.
Yeah, and that
So,
too.
I mean, I feel bad in the aspect that they had to do that. And I feel like maybe it became an addiction that way.
It could have, but 9 times out of 10, it seems like the homeless people back in the day when I was little, they were homeless because it's not that they chose to be homeless, but because, you know, they had an addiction and they knew, you know, they were just fine. You didn't see as many homeless people back then. Not the way that you do now, not the families, not the whole family pushing baskets down the road and you knowing that they're going looking for an overpass. It's just so different. But people have the same way of judging them. They're sitting there thinking about, okay, that's just, they're like that because of whatever. But it's not true nowadays. Nowadays, everybody lives paycheck to paycheck. Everybody's struggling. Everybody's having a hard time finding jobs. We don't have money falling out the sky. Nobody does. Yet, certain people can get online and press in a few buttons and make a video and make all this fucking money. But they ain't going out and helping the homeless.
Yeah, I'm not making 1 cent off of what I do right now. So just so everybody knows.
Well, no, I'm saying anybody.
I know.
Anybody.
I
You
know.
know,
I mean, I
from
try whenever I work downtown in my metro area, and sometimes like if I'm at a stoplight and it's really hot outside, I'll have a bottle of water or something. I won't hand anybody money per se, but I will hand them a bottle of water. There was one time
yeah,
I had a bottle of water and I had a pack of fruit snacks because my kids left it in the car. And the guy was so gracious.
just a kind word and letting them know that we see them is enough sometimes. You know, because a lot of times it feels like you're forgotten, you're invisible. It's easier to walk
And there's a
by
park.
and ignore.
Yeah, there's a park across the street from where I work too. And every Friday they come out with these trailers that have showers and like a food truck specifically for them.
Yeah,
And they give them showers and they feed them. And sorry, they do like campfire and whatnot. It's like a
yeah,
big old thing for them every weekend. They get showers, they get food, and it's awesome.
yeah. But how do we figure out as a society to help them get out of that period? Because you know, there's got to be a way that the people that want to get off the street can. And what's the obstacles that are standing in their way to get off the street? Is
He
it
did what now,
jobs?
Cookies? He told you no? That's crazy.
What happened?
She said he had a sign that said will work for money, and she was going to pay him $80 to mow her lawn. She had all the equipment, and he looked at her like he was nuts and said no.
Yeah, because you can stand on the street and easier and get the money. But the people that really need the help and really need the money aren't doing that. They're actually, you know, there are
Yeah,
people that aren't going to go out there and ask for the help. I don't know. It's just,
I see people all the time in Dollar Tree that are loading up their carts with hygiene products, and somebody will ask them what they're doing, and they'll be ahead of me in line, and that's what they're doing. They're going
yeah,
and buying a crap ton of hygiene products for people
yeah.
that are on
I
the
mean,
street.
just that helps, you know, blankets, getting blankets to these people, getting,
And I
you know,
know that sometimes they open up the parking garages during the winter. Like there's certain garages or something that they do as warming centers. And at one
yes,
point in time, they were doing something else, but people had that perception of we don't want them in our neighborhood because they're going to do this or that. And people need to get out of that mindset because we're all fucking people and we all need help.
and they're in their neighborhood anyway.
They're
They've just
everywhere.
been blinded and don't see them.
Yeah. And it's very
Start,
disheartening.
yes, start looking down the alleyways. Look next to creeks. Look next to the rivers. I guarantee you'll see a tent. I went
I don't
fishing
know.
one time and we found a whole homeless community and didn't realize it until we walked into it. You know, everybody was nice and everything. They had campers and vehicles and everything. Some people were in tents, but those are the people that you don't see. They've got jobs and they're still living like that.
Yeah. There are some people that are just humble enough that don't want the material things in life as well.
Yeah,
So I guess the lesson is don't judge people, man.
exactly, because you never know.
Just be kind. Because, like I said at the very beginning, self-care is a very good thing. You don't know what someone's going through. A kind word can help someone throughout the day. And that's what I've been doing. I go through my TikTok feed and I post something on someone's every day. Let them know that I'm glad they're here. That I see them. I'm glad you're here, Rachel.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm glad
I'm
you're
glad
here
that
too.
I'm glad that you're here to tell your story. I'm glad that you had your mom for as long as you did. I'm sorry that you had to go through the things that you did with her.
Yeah. It was all, my grandmother used to tell me, whatever don't kill us only makes us stronger.
I believe that.
So I'm stronger for what I went through. And I wouldn't be the person that I am right now without it.
People tell me all the time that I'm one badass bitch, but I don't believe it.
You're sitting here right now talking about what you went through. You are a badass bitch.
That's hard to do. That's hard to do.
Yes, because there's a lot of people that can't do that and be honest with themselves. They want to sugarcoat everything and play the victim. And you're not trying to do that. You're
Nope.
trying to get the word out.
I used because of my choices. Others
And
helped
now,
me put it in my hands, but I ultimately made the choice to fucking put it in my body.
and now you've made the choice not to. That makes you stronger.
And I'm gonna look into what you said, Cookies and shit, about the properties thing. Cause you know what? Girl, stop it. You're gonna make me drive over to your house and punch you. Um, I really enjoyed the conversation today, that I wasn't sitting up here talking to a wall by myself today. I know where you live. What you talking about, Willis? Do it. Do it. Pull up. Pull up. Pull up.
Well, it was very nice talking to you ladies, but I think I hear my husband waking up from his nap.
Okay.
So
Well, take
I'm going to
care.
go cook.
Bye, Rachel.
Hello, hello. I will
Enjoy
talk
your
to y'all later, and y'all enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
You as well.
And
laters.
I hope I didn't step out of lines in any kind of way.
No, absolutely not.
And y'all have a great day. As soon as I figure out how to get out of here. How do you get out of here?
Do you need me to drop you?
Probably so, because I don't know what I'm doing.
All right. I'll see you later. Thank you.
Okay, see you later. Thank you.
Bye. Well, ladies and gents, I think we had a really good live. I want to thank Rachel and I want to thank Wims. Do you have anything else you want to talk about, Wims?
No, I'm here for moral support.
Well, I appreciate you. I want to thank everybody in the chat today for keeping it going. I'll be back next week with a different topic, maybe some different speakers. I like how it's going. I think I'm finding my niche.
Doing good?
I think it's flowing well.
Yes.
I appreciate you all. And remember, Nothing is hopeless. There's always hope. And until next time, bye.